Welcome to another episode of Salvage One Bus Life Adventures. In this episode, we work on the battery situation. If you remember, we bought the bus with dead batteries, and as it turns out, the terminals and the connectors and the wires were not in the best shape either. Pretty much the whole system kind of needed to be revamped. Today, we tackle these problems, and hopefully we solve them. Okay, after being foiled yet again, the batteries are completely dead. We cannot recharge them, so now I gotta go find these batteries. There's a couple places, but they're scattered all around the city. Hopefully somebody will have them in stock. They're not your average battery that you can buy at an auto parts store. So that's where we're at. Couldn't get the seats dumped, so I still got a bus load of seats. We started cleaning on the inside and got part of the way.
Roof down.
Yeah, kind of got the driver's area cleaned up, but we still got to do the whole rest of it. But I got to get the seats out first. And to do that, I need the battery so I can drive the bus to the dump so I can dump the seats. So that's where we're at. Okay, so what we're going to be doing here is, before I put the new batteries in, probably going to clean out this tray a little bit. But also I need to change out at least two of these terminal ends because they are cracked and they're not making a good enough connection on the batteries. So I had to buy some new ones. So I got here. Say they're heavy duty brass ones. They're supposed to be pretty good, so we'll see what happens. I might just end up changing out all of them. I think I got 4 and I can change at least 3 of them. So we'll see what happens. But they're easy. They gotta, like these here, just that with a post, and then the wires connect to them. They're not like this one, where it's part of the wire. So 2 of them. Looks like the 2 negatives I can swap out, and hopefully I can fix the broken ones. Anyways, this is what we're gonna do. Hopefully it all works. Alright, so what we have here is a severely corroded positive battery cable. I took the terminal end off, which is this one, and it was all corroded inside here as well, so I'm cleaning that up, keeping track of all the little bolts and wires and which terminals they go back onto. But there's an old trick to clean that up, so I don't have to go buy another one because I'm too cheap to do that, and I don't want to block you guys out. But go to McDonald's and you get yourself a Coke, straight Coke. Don't get the Diet Coke, that doesn't seem to work. And you will pour some of this onto that cable, and you will start seeing fizz action almost immediately. And the acid from the Coke will eat the acid on the cables and should clean them up pretty good. Won't be like brand new, but it should clean them up fairly well. And I'm not sure how much Coke it's going to take, but we'll see. And I'll take some pictures of it and maybe a little bit of video as I do it. It won't be clean. It's going to be messy in here doing it, but it is what it is. We got to get this stuff done. Alright, we're going to take the Coke here and pour it onto the cable. So let's see what it does. And you can hear it, but it's actually fizzillating. Try a little bit more. In fact, I think I'm just going to take the cable and dunk it directly into the thing so it stays soaked and see what that does. I don't have a stand to hold the phone, or I'd show it to you, so let me put it in there and then I'll pick up the phone again and start filming. Okay, cable has been submerged into the goo. Cable has been submerged into the goo. And now we shall see. We'll leave it in there for a few minutes, see what it does. I don't know if you can hear that, but there is a slight fizzing action going on. So the two acids are doing battle. I don't know if you can see little bubbles coming up there. So, let's see what happens. Okay, it ate away some of it, but not a lot. This stuff, old crud here, has formed kind of a hardened shell on there almost. So I'm going to take a hammer and put it against this edge right here. And just do a little bit of tapping, see if we can break some of that up and break it loose. Probably soak it in the Coke a little bit more, and then we'll go from there. Now you can see that, but I also threw the end of the terminal in there as well. It had some crud on it, and now I'm going to let that soak as well. You can see a little bit of bubbles coming up, just a little bit. So again, the acids are fighting each other. And yeah, this is an old trick I learned. My dad taught me this a long time ago. And I think they changed the formula of Coke, so we're not getting the fizz we used to get all the time. But, you know, it is still working. There's still enough acid in there to do the trick. So let's hope it works. Well, it's been a couple minutes, and you could definitely smell something's going on in there. There's a kind of a foul stench coming out of that cup, coming off of those wires in that terminal, so something's going on. It definitely appears to be working. Okay, I took it out of there, and it's still kind of hardened. It is cleaning up a bit. You can start seeing the coppering and some of the stuff's coming off, so it's taking a little bit longer than it used to do. Probably because they changed the formula of Coke, so it's not as acidic as it used to be in the old days. But it is coming clean, so I'm probably going to go do some other things while that's soaking. And this way I'm not wasting time here just waiting on this. We do have a lot of other work to do. Like I said, we're getting the what do you call them, seats out of there. They're all loaded on the trailer. Some of the people had to go that were helping me had to go and do stuff, so they'll be back. Like I said, I'll just go around the bus and start doing other things that need to get done. Yes, we can talk about these batteries. Get a cable, get a good look at these guys. So they're OTRs. They're the OTR 4D 1000. So they got 1000 cold cranking amps at 32 degrees, 1250 cranking amps. And then we got a reserve capacity of 295 minutes. So that's not too bad. I need two of them for the bus, so I had to get two of them. The only place in our area that had them was called Fleet Pride. No other parts store had them. They got them on their websites like Advanced Auto Parts and AutoZone and all that. They got them on their website, but you can't get them. They're not legal to be brought into our state, apparently. I guess before or after a certain date, or you have to have certain paperwork, and these stores were too lazy to go do that. I don't know what the whole story is. But they got them all on their websites, but they can't bring them in. So the only place I can get them was a truck place called Fleet Pride. And they service, buses and fleet maintenance and things like that. Well, I let it soak for about 20 minutes or so. I went inside and did some cleaning. And it definitely, I don't know if you can tell, but it definitely took a lot of that blackish crud off of there. There's still a little bit of a hard shell on it. But now you can at least see the threads and feel the threads, and it comes off when you wipe it with a rag. Cleaned this puppy right up. Took most of the crud right off of that. Here's the soda inside there. You can see it's now a totally different color, and you definitely don't want to drink out of that. You can see all the metal flake and corrosion all floating in there. That's Coke does the job, folks. Imagine what that does to your intestines. I guess you wouldn't leave it sitting in there for that long, I guess, but you know. Alrighty, so now I'm going to try and clean these up a little bit and then put it all back together and hook the batteries up and see if we can get it running. Alrighty, that took a little bit longer than I had anticipated, but they're all in now. They're bolted down. These are 1/2-inch bolts. These are 7/16, and you had to take them off and try and move our wires around so everything would fit. So these batteries are linked together, and then this is the wires that go down into the starter area and the ignition, and this guy is just linked to him to help him start. And okay, so now we're gonna close the cabinet, go inside, crank her up, and see if she'll go. Always got to make sure the water's full in the batteries. This is our maintenance type batteries. So especially the hotter the weather, anytime we have dramatic weather changes, actually, whether it gets really hot or really cold, you should always go and check the water. But as a matter of maintenance, you should always check them like at least once a month anyways, just to be on the safe side. Check their levels and make sure that the I always call them coils. I'm sure there's a different name for them. Inside are always covered with water. You don't want to fill them all the way up to the top of the cap opening, but you definitely want to make sure that the little grids and coils inside are covered with water, distilled water. You don't want to just put tap water in there because you got garbage in your tap water. That'll corrode the batteries and stuff inside. So just distilled clean water. Make sure they're filled. Okay, let's go start this puppy up. Alrighty, I am in the captain's chair. I'm doing my pre-flight checklist. Make sure that there's nothing on that's not supposed to be on. I don't want anything drawn from the batteries that's not supposed to be drawing. When I put the terminals on, there was no big sparks, so that tells me that nothing was turned on to try and draw juice. So all the juice in those batteries should go to start this puppy up. Let's see what happens when I turn the key. Sure, we're gonna get like warning lights and stuff because it hasn't run in like 2 weeks. Okay, we got low pressure, which is there. Check engine, which is there, gone. Alrighty. Started right up. He likes those batteries. Oh, let's wait. Start it off again. Should have been giving it some beans while I was talking. Wait. And we got the low air pressure, which is to be expected. Again, it hasn't run in 2 weeks. But that's what the gauges look like. That oil pressure. That oil temp. That's oil pressure. This is pressure and temperature. This is buried, so I know the net meter's not working. Because these should be brand new, there shouldn't be any charging at all. Should be right at between the 12 and 14. Not all the way over there, so that tells me that gauge is not working. Oil pressure slowly building. I can hear a hissing noise, so I can definitely hear the air leak in the seat. I think the air leak's coming from inside this cabinet, so I'm hoping it's an air line that's inside there and not hooked to the seat, which will make it easier to fix. Shut that valve if I want the door to work. Right now, we're just going to let this do its thing.